Breaking cycles, building bridges, how healing transforms communities. Have you ever wondered what happens when someone decides that generational pain stops with them? When they look at the patterns of hurt flowing through their family tree and declare, "Not on my watch"? I recently had the profound privilege of interviewing NovaNova, a remarkable Black woman of transgender experience whose journey illuminates the extraordinary power of healing, not just for ourselves, but for entire communities. Her story isn't just inspiring, it's revolutionary. NovaNova has become a beacon of hope, a living testament to the possibility of transformation, even in the face of society's most entrenched prejudices. Through her courage to speak truth, her unwavering faith, and her commitment to building bridges between communities that rarely connect, she is quite literally changing the landscape of healing work in America. What struck me most about my conversation with Nova Nova wasn't just her resilience in the face of addiction, abuse, and profound loss, including her journey with HIV. It was how she transformed these experiences into a mission that bridges divides and creates spaces where healing multiplies. Healing is possible no matter your starting point. Those words from Nova Nova have been echoing in my mind for weeks now. Think about that for a moment. No matter how deep the wound, how entrenched the pattern, how heavy the burden, healing remains possible. Not just theoretical, not just for other people, but for you, for all of us. But here's the thing about healing that we don't talk about enough: it's rarely a solo journey. When we heal ourselves, we create ripples that extend far beyond our individual experience. It's like dropping a stone into still water. The impact continues long after the initial splash. I want to share three powerful examples of this ripple effect that emerged from my conversation with Nova Nova. These aren't abstract concepts or wishful thinking. These are real stories of transformation happening right now. In Atlanta, a woman named T.S. Madison took her personal experience with homelessness and transformed it into direct action. In 2025, she launched the Starter House, a reentry home providing safe housing for formerly incarcerated Black trans women. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment what it means to leave incarceration with nowhere to go. No safety net, no support system, just the same systemic barriers that likely contributed to your incarceration in the first place. For Black trans women, these barriers are often insurmountable: discrimination in housing, employment, health care. The deck isn't just stacked against them, sometimes it feels like there's no deck at all. Madison didn't just talk about this problem. She converted her own property into intentional community housing. The Starter House offers a 90-day program with job assistance, healthcare access, and holistic support. It's not charity, it's empowerment. It's not a handout, it's a foundation. What's remarkable is how Madison's personal healing journey, working through her own experiences of housing insecurity, became a blueprint for community transformation. She had previously supported gay kids as a house mother before formalizing this role, showing how our informal acts of care can evolve into structured change. This is exactly what Nova Nova means when she speaks about breaking cycles. One person's healing becomes a community's liberation. One person's enough is enough becomes a generation's turning point. But breaking cycles isn't just about creating physical spaces. Sometimes it's about claiming a seat at tables where decisions are made. Mariah Moore, Director of Policy and Programs at the Transgender Law Center, embodies this truth. As a Black transgender leader from New Orleans, her work is deeply rooted in justice and shaped by personal loss and resilience. Moore faced the persistent challenge of exclusion, from policy decisions affecting Black trans people. The lack of safe spaces, housing, and the weight of generational trauma are realities she knows intimately. Every day she walks into rooms where people who look like her have historically been absent, and she does it anyway. But rather than accepting these conditions, she centers lived experiences at policy tables while building grassroots movements focused on visibility and compassion driven leadership. But she doesn't just want a seat at the table, she's redesigning the entire table. Her efforts have advanced equity measures that ensure future generations inherit greater autonomy. She inspires activism grounded in love rather than reaction alone. And this distinction matters profoundly because sustainable change requires more than righteous anger. It requires vision, strategy, and a deep commitment to creating something better than what we're fighting against. What moves me about Moore's approach and what resonates so deeply with NovaNova's message is how she's motivated by memories of friends lost too soon. She recognizes those who fought before her, bringing urgency around survival issues like safe housing into national conversations about pride and progress. Moore has become emblematic of radical possibility through public facing campaigns spotlighting transformative change led by Southern voices. She proves transformation starts within communities willing both to speak truthfully about harm and build new systems together. This is the essence of what Nova Nova describes as healing bloodlines while serving others' liberation journeys too. It's recognizing that your healing isn't just for you, it's for everyone who comes after you. But what about those whose healing journey takes place in the public eye? What happens when your personal transformation becomes a platform for visibility that others desperately need? Monroe Bergdorf's story offers powerful insights here. In 2017, she became L'Oreal UK's first openly transgender model, a role she specifically used to empower girls like me through mainstream media campaigns. The fashion and media industries had long excluded diverse voices, leaving young queer and trans youth without visible role models or pathways forward. Bergdorf herself faced significant backlash after speaking out on social justice issues publicly. Yet she used each setback, including being dropped, then rehired, to amplify messages about self worth among marginalized youth while advocating for structural change across multiple platforms. Each no became an opportunity to say a bigger yes to her authentic self and the communities she represents. Her presence inspired countless young people questioning their place or value due to gender and race intersections. She forced major brands and institutions toward more inclusive practices over time. And she did it not by compromising who she was, but by insisting that who she was deserved recognition, respect, and representation. Bergdorf entered modeling, motivated directly by industry exclusion. She quickly rose as an outspoken voice connecting individual empowerment with wider cultural shifts needed around representation. From catwalks to global beauty campaigns, she continually linked personal testimony with calls to action, benefiting broader LGBTQ plus communities. Her visibility wasn't just about personal success, it was about collective possibility. She remains proof that storytelling paired with courageous visibility catalyze healing for individuals and society, in line with Nova Nova's call for everyone, regardless of identity, to have their story heard. These three examples, T.S. Madison, Mariah Moore, and Monroe Bergdorf, illuminate what Nova Nova emphasized throughout our interview: Your story holds power beyond yourself. By embracing her identity as a Black woman of transgender experience, NovaNova embodies the bridge between communities who may see themselves as different but share deep common ground. Her mission is to uplift, enlighten, encourage, and restore faith, not only for Black trans women, but for all people seeking hope. This is where faith enters the conversation in a profound way. During our interview, Nova Nova spoke passionately about how faith and purpose can transform pain into light through prayer work, spiritual gifts revealed by God, and a commitment to serve others, even through adversity. She demonstrates how living in alignment with divine calling empowers both personal evolution and collective liberation. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, that's inspiring, but what does it have to do with me? I'm not starting a housing initiative or becoming a model or policy leader. But here's what I learned from Nova Nova: breaking cycles doesn't always look like grand gestures. Sometimes it's as simple and as difficult as recognizing a harmful pattern and choosing differently. Sometimes it's setting a boundary where none existed before. Sometimes it's speaking your truth when silence has been the family tradition. For Black women, especially those who've spent decades in survival mode, this message resonates deeply. We've led teams, raised families, held down households, carried communities. But at what cost? The shift from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, peace, softness, and self prioritization is its own form of breaking cycles. It's saying the superwoman cape stops with me. My daughters, my nieces, my community will inherit a different model of womanhood, one that includes rest, boundaries, and self care. As Nova Nova would say, this isn't selfishness, it's sacred work. So I stand before you today with a challenge, a call to action that transcends demographics, backgrounds, and life circumstances. I challenge you to identify just one cycle in your life that needs breaking, one pattern that has persisted in your family, your community, or your own personal history that you can disrupt through intentional healing. What would happen if each of us committed to this work? What would our communities look like in 5 years, in 10? What generational burdens might be lifted from children not yet born? The path of healing is rarely linear and it's never finished. But as Nova Nova reminds us, it's always, always possible. And when we embrace this journey, not just for ourselves, but for the collective good, we become architects of a different future. We become the ancestors our descendants will thank. So take that first step, have that difficult conversation, set that boundary, tell that truth, seek that help, rest without apology, love yourself without condition. Your healing matters, not just to you, but to all of us. Because in the end, we are not just breaking cycles, we are building bridges. And those bridges will carry generations toward a freedom many of us have only dared to imagine. Thank you